real world. Let's get it. Real talk with Carl and Charlene. Real talk for the real world. Let's get it.
Good morning, and welcome to another week, guys. Yes, it's another week, but we're in August. It's not only another week, it's another month, and we're chiming into the eighth month of the year, 2022. And where has the year gone so far, right? But we want to thank you for joining us for another fly edition of Real Talk with Carl and Charlene. Definitely tell us you doing it. Those of you that are joining us, I can't talk this morning. Those of you that are joining us live, please drop it in the comments where you're tuning in from. Drop in there your perspective, your thoughts. Also, drop in there your questions because we're going to be covering something today that I think you're going to want to have a interesting ear in, as we always do. But of course, those are going to tune in to us on hashtag replay. You do the same. Drop in the comments where you're tuning in from. We're definitely going to engage with you, and we're definitely going to answer your questions as well. And we definitely spotlight your questions. That's what we do. We love the interaction. We thank you guys for joining us all over the globe. We appreciate your support, and we love you as family, right? This is how we do it. So, but of course, I can't do it by myself. So I got my lovely hostess with the mostest. Come on in, Charlene. What's going on this Tuesday morning? What's up?
Good morning, everyone. What's going on? Happy Tuesday, Carl.
Happy Tuesday to you. Lovely weekend. What?
Man, it was a good weekend. I did some mini home up levels, I guess. I don't know what
Up
you would call it,
levels.
but
Up
I had to
levels.
change out my blinds because Shadow likes to get to chewing.
Yes, shout out to
So I put
Shawn.
some sturdier blinds in, and I felt good. Like the first one wore me out. I took a whole nap after that,
Oh wow, not
and
a
then I
nap.
woke up and I put the other two back in.
Oh wow,
But
not
that
a
was
nap.
my time. And of course, I spent some FaceTime with friends. It was
Okay.
awesome. One of our friend Amelia, her birthday was over the weekend. So we got it in at Governor's Island. So if anybody is in the tri-state New York area, Governor Island is amazing to go and just experience. It's huge. You walk around, you do bike ridings, 4 bikes, 6 bikes, single, or
Oh,
all of that. It was really fun. It was really fun. And then they have free tours. It was cool. It was cool.
wow. I don't think I heard of that. Governor's Island. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
picnics
they
were
say so much to
everywhere.
do in New York. So I see, you see so many brochures about upstate New York, the mountains, all of that.
Yeah.
I did one time visit Watkins Glen for the race. I have been there for the. I think they got the NASCAR up there. So I do remember going there. It was
Okay.
quite a while ago, but I do remember there. But I haven't really explored New York, and it's amazing being in New Jersey. Figured that some places like that
Hmm.
you would get to see. But I had some people that told me they've been living in New Jersey 20 years and they ain't been to Atlantic City. So I guess it just depends on what you want to do, who you are. Like I got a neighbor of mine say he ain't never been to Atlantic City, but he didn't been to Myrtle Beach and he didn't been in California. He been to every other place, but he never been to the beach in his own state. So I don't understand. I don't know. So go figure, right? Go figure, right?
Well, for a while, I didn't go to a lot of beaches out here. If there wasn't in Miami, I had to go to the Caribbean. So, I'm like, yeah, New
Okay.
York,
I think it's
because
that.
the
I
water
know
was
for me.
dirty. The water was
Yeah, it's that.
filthy.
Yeah, it's that
I'm
clean
not
water.
bathing in that.
That clean water thing for me. I can't. If I can't see from the bottom way up on the bridge, I ain't trying to look and be in that. You know what I mean? I
Amen.
need to see that clearness, that clear blueness, right? It
I
is
was like,
some
you
good
swimming
places.
in that? Nah, I'm
Yeah,
good.
yeah. No, I'm good.
But
I'm good.
yes, I want to make sure that we give a shout out to our amazing
Yes,
sponsors
all the people coming
because you
in.
guys are always coming through, and our sponsors are here. They come through as well. So, of course, our
Yes,
first group of sponsors, Russ and Scott, you'll be seeing their
yes.
information. Head on over to their live business mastermind group. Join. You'll see, of course, me, Carl, and a couple of other people who are in there, and we just chop it up. We make
Yes,
sure
sir.
that we all share what we're going through so we have a
Yes.
better idea of how we can level up as well. And our friend Martin, he has his book out. Make sure that you get you a copy of The Black Toolbox. grab your copy ASAP so you can make sure that he is someone who always supports us. So he gives us the tools that we can make sure that we are up leveling our lives in every different aspects. So this is a great book to cop and have on your nightstand. And of course, Carl, what is it that you like to help the
Oh,
people
the
get
question
together?
is the question is right there, right? Are you ready to be transformed? It's just really simple as that. 4 weeks intensive transformation, my vulnerability transformation program, where we take you from 0 to 100, right? In a 4 week time, we put you through. We got the assessments, we got the 360 going on, we got the introduction of vulnerability, to breaking bad habits, to moving forward, and of course, what we all look through when we get through programs, we're looking for that breakthrough. We're looking for the change and the transformation. And I bring you to just that. It's work to be done, it's self evaluation, and it's growth, all in a 4 week process. So, rest of the day, ShawnWatkins.com/VTP. It is for the leader in you, whether you got it as a title or whether you're doing it at home or whether you're doing it as a mom with the kids. It's for the leader in you. Y'all hit me up.
Yes, and if you are struggling with your website, you need some help, or you just want to be able to get a strategy together, hit me up with brooklyn.customdesigns.com/strategy so we can collaborate on your next project and get your website where it needs to be. And Carl, tell the folks what we have coming up in September that they need to be
Yo,
signing up like right now.
like right now, those in the chat, those in the comments, those who are going to check us out later on a hashtag replay, need to sign up. We got the next level business move summits, right? It is self-explanatory. It's telling you right there in the title what we're doing. Like, we're bringing together four awesome, amazing people: me, myself, Charlene, Michelle, and Donna, and we're bringing you 90 plus years of business expertise. That's right, four of us together collectively. We have over 90 years of us working in the business, being in the business, and being business owners. And we're giving you strategies, right? We're talking about this recession. Everybody don't want to talk about it. Saying that it's not one. I don't know what's going on, but I know we in one, right? So we're giving you strategies, proven strategies to recession proof your business for growth and sustainability. We're sharing all of our four expertise in one locale. That's right. Register. Right now, registration is open until September 9th at nextlevelbusinessmove.com. The general admission is $97. The VIP, where we break it down with you, we give you 45 more minutes of just that interior, breaking down your specific business model and going through what can make you greater, what can move you on. And that's all happening on Saturday, September the 24th. At 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. via Zoom. And once you register, you'll get the Zoom link. And we hope to see you there. You don't want to miss it.
And that's Eastern, y'all. That's
Yeah,
Eastern, 10
EST. I'm sorry.
a.m.
EST.
Eastern.
I got to tell people, I'm always acting like everybody live on the East Coast with me. So that's EST.
Man, so as we are talking about how we going through this recession, we also have to worry about how are we living and building connections now for later, for when times get hard. Can you reach out to somebody and they're not looking at you sideways or like you have four heads? Are you building a community now that can help support and sustain you later? And that's why we have our amazing friend Chris. He's coming on today and
Yeah,
he's going to talk to us about that. Because if you have not seen him, you don't know his videos, you don't see him on TikTok,
you're not
you're
doing it
doing
right.
LinkedIn wrong. You need to get to see and know Chris, and that's why he's on today. And I'm going to bring him on. Come on, Chris. Let the folks know more about you, sir. Hello.
Hey,
Stop, Chris.
hello,
Stop.
hello. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks so much for having me on. I'm humbled. You're far too kind for your words towards me, but I'll take them. I will
Yes,
take that.
absolutely.
Y- as you said, happy August. I had to take a minute and take a second and realize, yeah, I suppose it is August now. That kind of took me off guard a little bit, even though knowing as you're working on stuff, looking at the date, but it didn't really hit me until you said that it's the eighth month of the year. And I imagine like yourselves, right? You're so focused on Q2 of next year already at this point that you kind of forget and stop to take a minute to realize, wow, where have you gone this year and where you're going still for the last 4 months, right? So it's pretty interesting to look at that time pass by, but
Yeah, it is.
Yes. And
Go
because
ahead. I'm
it
sorry.
like we always learn especially as you're busy and you see a lot of your dreams and ideas coming true, you start to say to yourself, where did the time go? Because now you're no longer just sitting there waiting, hoping something happens, but you're staying active. Can you give the folks a little bit of background about you, who you are, what's Progressive Plan, and of course, how did you get so good at these videos and these reenacting these conversations that, regardless of what industry you're in, what you're doing, you can relate a lot to these conversations.
Yeah, thanks. So myself, just a simple folk from northern Alberta. I was raised an army brat, so I lived coast to coast in Canada. Born in Chatham, New Brunswick, lived out in Victoria, and pretty much everywhere in between. But yeah, that's kind of the long story short of my background. Moving forward, I worked as a steam fitter all over northern Alberta and then Saskatchewan. I met my one of my business partners, Curtis Hermans, and we decided that we can do things differently, right? And we just didn't really like people being treated like numbers, essentially. And just we figured, we can do business differently. So back in 2017, we took the first step and founded our Progressive Plan, and which is a project controls business. We do planning, scheduling, coordinating, and a lot of that support stuff, optimization. And we before the pandemic, we realized that, hey, hang on here, we could leverage technology and work with people all over the world and provide a better product if with the right connections. Because everybody, again, like we said, we realized that everybody's very, very much the same, right? Everybody wants the same thing. So we realized, hey, look, we can provide a better product, pay better rates, charge a little bit less, and just manage our overhead from that aspect, as opposed to trying to make money on top of people. And people said, hey, well, that's silly. You're not going to make a lot of money. Well, you know what? Maybe not right now, but when everyone wants to work with you, it starts to add up, right? And the clients are happy, and the people that are working with us for our clients are more than happy. Like they're super stoked. And so the client, so again, like it just compounds, right? And everybody's positive and just trying to keep that positive attitude. And it's interesting, not to glorify the horrible pandemic, but we started talking remote work before the pandemic, and again, people laughed and chuckled and said, yeah, well, that's not right. No one's going to want to work remotely. No one trusts it, blah, blah, blah. And, 2 years later, here we are, right? And, because of technology and stuff, I'm able to connect with yourselves, and we got chatting last year, and we share a lot of same connections and been able to build a community, right? And it's an incredible community of positivity and support. So it's weird, right? How things happen. And it sometimes out of darkness, I guess there's always light. There's always an opportunity to improve and reset, I guess, and do things proper, right? And do things better. And as far as the videos, we're offering a different product. So we spent a lot of time saying, hey, well, we're offering a different product, so we got to market and connect differently. We can't do the conventional, what everybody else is doing. So we just kind of had a little bit of fun. And I thought, well, we always giggle about these conversations, because they're always, you sit around having a coffee or a beer or whatever your beverage of choice is, and you share these stories, and they're like, well, why don't we start sharing these with people, and maybe people can relate. And they're a lot of fun to do. I haven't done a couple in a few weeks here. It's been a busy month of summer shenanigans and work, but there's a lot on the plate coming down the pipeline. So I appreciate the kind words on the TikTok, but it's just a lot of fun. And we thought, you know what, I'm just gonna have fun. And I was also, we told lots of times, don't wear hats, don't do this, don't do that. And I just figured, what, I'm gonna wear a hat. I'm gonna go have fun. I'm just gonna do it and see what happens. And if I fail, I fail. And if people react and like the authenticity, then we'll roll with that too. So kind of doing our own thing. So
yeah, that's the lifeline of it. And when we talk about building these communities, we'll talk about that recession piece in a moment. But I just want to really highlight and kind of like amplify that community versus the networking to me. And I know networking is always taking on this connotation. Even before we've kind of adjusted it to a sense and took it to a new meaning, because we haven't had the ability to be physically in front of people on the level that we were used to. But I look at it in the network events. We weren't even networking when we were able to do that, right? A lot of the conversations that me and Charlene talks about this a lot, handing out cards. Maybe if you had the events, it was kind of like a speed dating kind of thing. You know what I mean? Get 5 minutes with this one, switch, So really wasn't that close of it. And I'm always been a community person, right? What that means to me and the depths of what that means. And that is what I really try and strive to build, even with the connections on there. We know, like, verbiage wise network, you exchange information, you sharing with people, that kind of thing. Community, right? It's along the same lines, you sharing people. But I think the premise that I want you to jump on, you talk about communities and building them. We were talking off course, you talking about me and Benita Lee. Shout out to Benita Lee. And those kind of relationships to me is what community is. And when you build those kind of relationships, and to carry further through to what we're talking about, through a recession, you have some stability and foundation that networks cannot provide you. I know people like to say, network is your net worth, right? It is if you're seeking dollars out the people all the time, right? If that's what you're trying to build, a cash cow, the more followers you get, of course, the numbers game is going to tell you the more you may end up in the instance, right? But I'm looking for longevity of relationships. I'm looking for building foundations. I'm looking for collaborations that grow outside of the two people that's collaborating. I'm looking for those things. And I think give us a little bit of what you think on that word community, and how building them is so essential in a time like right now, what we're in.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned the network equals net worth, because I'll be honest, like 3-4 years ago when we were starting, and things were like, okay, we got to start bringing in cash flow. One of the things that I learned, and everything that I learned about all the books I was reading about building the businesses and everything else, and everything said, well, make sure, like, the positive message. You get some, like, the conventional that say, yeah, just hammer, and get a sale. Sure, there's some of that, the conventional kind of ways of doing business, but everything that really stuck out to me was serving others and putting that focus. And I'll be honest, like, serving others when you're trying to build a business, when you have no cash flow and you have nothing, no prospects, is a hard thing to do. And I can empathize with people heavily on that. And when people hear, oh, serve others, well, it doesn't mean you can't sell. It doesn't mean you can't work your business. It just means you got to help others in other ways, right? And putting that focus on helping others first is really what that builds those relationships. You build that trust. People realize you're not trying to take something from them. You're not connecting to say, oh, wow, ooh, goody, this will be a good connection. It's like, well, how can I help you, right? And being like Simon Sinek talks about, servant leaders, right? And what the other neat thing about building a community is when you actually build these authentic relationships, opportunities, they bloom out of nowhere. You never even thought possible, right? Like you open up your realm outside of your little inner circle from high school or your little work buddies, whatever your circle is. And you get out of that group think. You realize, oh my gosh, we can do things so much different or so much better. And there's a whole world of opportunity out there. And all we got to do is listen to other people that have ideas, right? And you just never know what the opportunities are going to pop up. So, building that community, like you mentioned, Benita, and again, I can't thank her enough for everything she's done for Progressive Plan, for myself, and all the support she's provided over the last few years. It's been absolutely, there's no way I'll ever be able to pay her back in any amount whatsoever for her support. And I met Benita through Peter Ryer, who's now a managing director of Progressive Plan. We met Peter at a lunch breakfast that we co-hosted back in February 2020, so just before the pandemic. And he's an old retired turnaround manager. He's in our industry. He's got a lot of knowledge in what we do. Very, very valuable asset. And we kept that relationship going, learning from him, mentoring us, giving us feedback. And then, he mentioned Benita was always posting on his page. So we got a chance, and I reached out to Benita and got talking with Benita. And it's funny, how you build those relationships. If you're thinking of building connections and friends as opposed to thinking people as assets, that's when the real magic starts to happen.
Yeah, that's the interaction, and that's the premise of which people person, and I know you're a lot like me in that aspect. People person, it's easy for you to carry on a conversation, be sociable in those kind of areas and atmosphere, and being able to do that. It is easy for us, and a lot of us that's watching, right? it's easy for us to get into those circles of outside of our circles because we had the high school. I still got close to some of my high school buddies, even though it's been a long time ago. Close to some of my college buddies as well. Just some of my personal friends from even the neighborhood. We didn't go to college, and I just grew up with them. Right? We still have those different levels of spectrums of community within ourselves. But the real magic happened when we reach out. What I found out just during the course of working and professional, just career path. The real true relationships have always came out of building community through being open with people, letting people in, and cultivating those relationships and levels that you may not have always been comfortable about. I've grown a lot of relationships that have formed really out of uncomfortable situations, right? Like you say, when you're meeting people and you spling and things are blooming off, you're like, wow, I never thought, we'll be at this point. Me and Charlene is a prime example of that. Like we was in a group and we were doing videos and we didn't know each other before that group. We hadn't heard of each other and I didn't know her as well. And we got in that and that kind of like sprang off. And then now here we are a year plus later, way down the rabbit hole, so to speak, with so many dynamic projects that we're doing, right? When you're talking about community with that, how and the recession piece of that, and you're encountering recession. I know you're in Canada. They may use a different term. Recession. I know we talk, and you get that big truck, and you was paying a whole lot for gas. I know we talking about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if the
Yeah.
gas went down, man, but what are some of the things that you've seen has really been key in the community where it's kind of kept you from the thresholds of that recession, where with a continuation of maybe the clients coming in or either new clients getting exposed to the kind of work you do? How's the community really been helping you in that prospect?
Just basically mostly through references, providing that support. That I guess the structural foundation saying, listen, like you need to talk with these people and help and grow the brand, right? Because again, everybody knows somebody, and what is it, the 6 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon, I think it is, or something along those lines. So if you took that and actually scaled that down, you're not looking at someone on the polar opposite side of the world from you, and really you're probably not very far connected or disconnected from someone that's able to provide a PO or a check or something along those lines for work, or that could use your services or needs your help, right? So again, I think it's just a matter of supporting each other and making sure that you're doing your part, right, and pulling your weight. And I just want to say something that it's a big part of it is opening up, allowing people to come in and help you too, and asking for help, because quite often that goes both ways. We can offer help. A lot of us are good at offering help and helping others, but we're not very good at asking for help and opening up. And saying, hey, listen, I need help. And nobody wants to say that. Nobody wants to admit that. It's like an admission of failure almost, if you will. So a lot of that, people don't know that you need help, right? So if you don't ask, then they just assume that everything's good because, we look at social media and say, oh yeah, he's living the life, or, she's having a blast and she's over there. But I mean, realistically, right? Like maybe she's days away from, a big breakdown. We don't know, right? You just don't see it. Yeah. So a big part of that is being open and honest. And on the other side of that, as a word of caution, there's people that'll take advantage of you. There's people out there that are like that. There's people that are going to exploit you. There's people that'll try to take your ideas and sell it for themselves. But I mean, I like to believe that there's probably a 90-10 split. I don't know the numbers. I'm not a sociologist, so bear with me here. But I'm a firm believer there's probably 90% good people and 10% just bad. And I don't think they're bad people. I just think they're good people with bad agendas that have been dealt either a bad hand or a bad situation. And so again, I think a lot of that's going to be you speak about vulnerability and transformation and stuff. I think a lot of that is a big key of it is allowing yourself to be vulnerable and accepting help from people and asking for help when you need it. But being there when people call you, right? That's the other side of it. If you're going to offer your help and people say, hey, look, call you up, say, hey, can you help me? And you can help them, but you don't, that's pretty inauthentic. And I think that's pretty rude. So I think that's it's a two-way street. And I think that's based on trust and accountability.
Yeah, and a lot of times when communities can weed out the bad. So I think that also is part of, are you in a community that fits you? because maybe that's not where you need to be. That's not your energy vibe, or the people who are coming in can easily be weeded out. Like you said, they're offering things, but they're not following through, or something is just not connecting, or they're every time they talk to you, they're selling their services. Because Carl and I talk about that as well. Like when you're building a community and you're jumping in on these things, and people are like, oh, you know what, I can help you, and the next you know, they slamming you with these they slam me with the invoice, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I thought we talked about bartering, you're trying to be clear with them, and they're just like, oh, okay, but then they still hit you with an invoice, or they try to. So it's a lot too with figuring out, are you in the right community? So for you, what was I want to say an idea, or what hit you, say, you know what, I don't need to be here, but these are my people, this is where I need to hang out the most? What sparked that for you?
A few moments actually. One was just I always adapt to the environment pretty good. I've always had a lot of fun. Just joking, and a lot of people can, especially oil field, it can be crass, but there's a lot of good people with big hearts as well. They get a bad rap, but there's still a lot of good people there. And I think just from a work standpoint was mostly just, I started, and I took my project management certificate back in was it 2011, and just kind of had an eye on doing something bigger, right? And I realized that, I love my community. I'm always there for them. I'm always there for my people that I worked with, and coworkers and stuff. Like I offer, I try to get them jobs, and we help each other where we can, share knowledge and stuff, and whatever we can, we help, because I respect my roots. But also I realized that if you're always in your own circle, you do have to kind of branch out and put the focus on, and a lot of that came from kids. And this is why I say it's kind of multifaceted. It was kind of over the time. And I wish just sidestep real quick. I wish I had access to your transformation program and the 4 steps. This would have been a lot easier than the struggles that I went through for the last 5 or 6 years for myself, trying to transform who I was. But yeah, used to party a lot, and we had a lot of fun. And a lot of that was with the boys, right, from high school and stuff, which is still very close with and stuff. And a lot of them moved on. But as you got a family, and it was like, so some of the big things I want to do, I want to complete and run 100 miler. That's what we were talking about off the show there beforehand. So, there's a lot of training commitment to that. And I've always kind of taken the training. I've always been a runner, but I've always kind of, putzed around a little bit, did some training, didn't take it serious enough, right? I've got 3 kids, 8, 6, and 4. And they want their dad. They want to spend time, and we've got a business that we're trying to scale and help more people and do things differently. So again, that takes a lot of time, and I think focusing on the community, going back to that standpoint, and being surrounding my people that are myself with people that are positive, supportive, and really just kind of cutting out everything that was not value added, and I hate to say that, there's some loved ones and stuff as well, people that were close, that you're always buddies with and stuff. But realistically, it was like, well, you're not bringing any value to me, because you're not supporting, like a perfect example of like, what would be a good example? Oh, I'm gonna go drive my truck down to Calgary. Well, instead of saying, oh, that sounds great, what are you doing in Calgary? It would be like, why Calgary? Calgary sucks. Or, oh, why would you drive down there with the gas? You know what I mean? Like that negative attitude. And so a lot of that just starts to beat you down. And, it's funny because, well, not funny, but I was trying to juggle all that for a long time. And in 2019, it kind of came to a boiling point for myself, going into before the pandemic, and just where I was. Because I was trying to juggle this lifestyle. I was trying to live back in the day and be that guy that's fun and everything, but I wanted to progress, and I was struggling with myself internally, trying to see who I wanted to be, and I couldn't really figure that out. And meanwhile, here I was, and I've never admitted this on LinkedIn, but I will now, because we're getting real.
Live, man. We across the globe, man. Breaking news.
So yeah, here we are, and my lovely wife, my partner Andrea, Just the kindest, most incredible soul you'll ever meet in your life. She's on LinkedIn, but she's got no profile picture. She's super shy. So if you follow her, by all means, you can jump on there and send her messages and stuff too. But the poor girl, here I was trying to juggle all this, and just basically giving everyone small piece, but not my whole, right? And it wasn't fair to all of them. And realistically, I was, can I say, can I what's the a-hole? I'll just say a-hole. I won't say, I don't know what the language censors and stuff in there. And I was just a total a-hole to a lot of people, right? And I realized that it just wasn't who I wanted to be. Things were conflicting, and it just couldn't be who I wanted to be. So I kind of shifted away from that whole, the party attitude and everything else, and really kind of started shuffling my life around. And as I did that, I realized as we got talking near the end of the year that I had no idea. So here's the crazy part. I found out at the end of 2019, after I did all this focus and trying to get feedback, and I used the Johari window. You guys aware of that? It's like the known knowns, the unknown knowns, unknown unknowns, and it's your personality. So your known knowns are what you know about yourself and everyone knows, and your unknown unknowns. I was trying to find where that all was. So I did like this totally anonymous survey, sent it out to people to get feedback and what their thoughts were about me. And I had about, I think it was like 45 or 50 comments. And I don't advise other people to do that, because some of the comments you get being anonymous these are from loved ones and people, you don't know who it is. So you get some that are less than ideal, but you get a lot of positive ones as well. So you have to understand that when you go into an exercise like this, that it's, you may not like everything you hear. And I was prepared for that, because I didn't like who I was. And so I found out at the end of the year, after going through all this, and I'm still going through it all, that my wife had told me that had I not changed and we did not have kids, she would have been gone already. So, and then that was totally unknown to me. So you don't know how your community feels about you if you're not committing yourself to your community, I guess, would be the long story short.
Yeah, that actually was long story, very impressive. And not only that, I'm glad the hashtag vulnerability is strength, my favorite. That was just a piece of it, and it's amazing how you tie the two together. And it's something that I constantly talk about all the time. In the essence of it, yes, what I do when I talk to people and carrying through those steps, yes, I'm highlighting leaders and I'm highlighting jobs and DEI and that thing, yeah, because that's kind of like my forte, right? But when I boil it all down, like my grandma used to say, when you boil it down to a little small gravy, right? When you got all the juices and the onions and everything is really boiling real nice, you're really talking about the individual. And what kind of individual do you want to be? Because that is what's really what you just taken and just really just put what I do on display right now, or what you've explained. It's the kind of person you want to be. It has nothing to do with the title. A business coach of mine, long way, he was actually a coach before I really even looked at them in that way. He just was pouring into me with some stuff, especially at the beginning of the pandemic, and I had no idea about this entrepreneurial thing. And he was just sharing with me tidbits, and I was writing stuff down all the time. And he said, "You writing that down?" I said, "Yeah." I say, because if I don't remember these, I want to go back and be able to read these. And all of those was manifestations of me changing the person I was, right? I had these ideals about what I want people to envision themselves to be better, but I didn't turn around the mirror. And there were still things within me that, and I'm glad you talked about the unknown. I didn't know that's what they're called. I done a survey like that about 4 or 5 years ago. I didn't know that the unknown knows, because he was like, the unknown, so that sound for me, but I had no idea what the name of it was. But I took a survey like that with some people at work, and I was not prepared for, and I don't think that you ever are. But the greatest thing happened to me was what those people honestly put on that paper, and honestly the results I got back, because it made me hold the mirror up to myself. Say, dude, you ain't what you think you are. And you're not the person you think, and everybody ain't loving you like you think they loving you. And like, these are close people who I really kind of like was hurt by some comments. I was like, what? I didn't know who said them, but I just said, I'm sending it out to my coworkers. They know me. I work with them. I know I'm gonna get glowing reviews, right? Man, there was some people, man, had me sitting at the desk like with tears. And these are the things that we're talking about with the community, because they're the ones that you're in, that you don't want to be in that little piece here, piece there. You want to give to them so they can feel you and you grow from you. And you want to be able to get from them someone that's not feeling shortchanged. And I think a lot of that happens in the networking, right? We get to the networking piece, and we get down the road a little bit, and I don't know about that one. I don't think he's going to bring me 5 or 10 clients. I don't think it's. But when you get into the community, you start getting into care. I care who you are as a person, Chris. I care about you that your wife was on that plateau. Can you imagine? I can't imagine how hurtful that was to get that realization. Like you think you're all in and everything's good, and you have someone holding this mirror up and saying, "No, that's not the picture I'm seeing." And it's amazing. I appreciate you for sharing that, man.
And also, we have to be mindful of what type of communities are we getting into.
Yes.
There's some communities, that's what they're there for, to help you with your business. And the way they can do that is if they get to know who you are, and then they know who to send to you. So those type of referral networks, but those are the ones who are doing the deeper dive, like how Chris is saying, like they're letting you know, like, okay, this is who you are. I can see that. And are you spreading yourself too thin? Are you in a ton of communities that you can't show up the way you want to? That's something else. We have to be okay with saying no to joining certain communities, because we're always being asked, hey, I got this, I got this, I got that. Say no to whatever doesn't fit you, whatever doesn't suit what you need to be. And if you can only do 3 communities and build real relationships in, then do that. If you need to be in a community for your mental, get in that community, knowing this is not a business opportunity. This is just for me, to not only me get better, but maybe I can be there for someone else, and vice versa. So I think it's what type of communities are you jumping into, and are you into many? So figuring that out as well.
That's a great point. Yeah, it's important to say no, right? It's important to have boundaries, and I think it's important that you join and support communities that meet your values. And I think that's the key for me. Our sales coach Niraj Kapoor over in Ireland likes to say people buy from people, and he's 100% correct, right? And the sales process, if you're getting the front end marketing, the sales process kind of sells itself, right? And I'm not going to shortchange the sales process. It's a long drawn out. It's a brutal path to a sale. We all understand that. There's a lot of work, but a lot of that being a good person and having people speak positively about you. I would rather take a bit longer and make a sale, and people say, wow, Chris and Curtis and Peter and all the gang at Progressive Plan, they're a great group. I'd love to do business with them, but maybe it took us a little longer to get it. Then, oh my God, these guys are such a pain in the ass. But we need them right now. We'll hire them. Right? I'd rather the former than the latter myself. I'd rather take a little extra time and have that positive experience and positive relationship than an uphill battle when we do start. So.
Yeah, and I think it's well worth it. The process of what you put in and the process of what you take out. And I'm glad Charlene highlighted that piece about the communities, because a lot of times when we're not really sure ourselves, or we haven't done the deep dive of work within ourselves, we're unsure of the communities we need to really ingratiate ourselves in, right? Because we're all looking for people to support us, right? We're all looking for, that's just humanity in the whole. We're all looking for somebody to say, yeah, that a boy, great job. We're always looking for that those kind of like accolades, so to speak. Even if we're in the humbleness of self, we still want someone to appreciate the things that we bring to the table, right? But when you're not really sure what you bring to the table from the aspect of who you are, not so much as what you present on the level of professional or business, but who you are, because a lot of that changes how you do business, how you are professional. Because once you understand the kind of person you are, you can really delve into with the aesthetics of really helping someone more than you receiving, or you can really pour into that. And that's why I'm loving the community part of that, because it brings about the unity is at the end of that, right? There's a unifyingness in there that says, okay, I know I have this, you have that. How can we do these together? Not so much that I can take from you or you take from me, but how can we grow what we're in? And I think that's what community builds its strength in. How do we join these? And how do we even define these ones that we want to be in, and go further with even with the title? How are we building these through these times? What are some of the steps that you've used now, even in the times that we're in? And I guess we can call it the R word, because everybody's not really, owning up to us being in the recession, right? What are some of the steps that you give us, Chris, or share with us, of some of the things that PPL is kind of like taking on that plan and saying, okay, these are some of the things that we're going to cultivate now in this season, so we can come out on the other side more productive and not sitting with, biting our nails.
Yeah. So one key thing that we've really done was we've made a point to support competitors and partners alike. Because again, like if we really want to standardize everything we're doing and everyone kind of buy into the change that we're trying to make, I honestly believe that everybody has to be on board. If you look at things like ISO, right, for International Standards Organization, and that's not one company that started that. That is a whole bunch of companies that fed into that to standardize that together, right? And so I think it takes a group effort, again, collaborators and competitors alike. Curtis, one of my partners there, I mentioned him earlier. He's a little more shy, so Curtis spends more time engaging on other people's posts, right? And he's got a lot of great content that he's putting out himself. So again, shameless plug, real quick. Make sure you follow those guys, Curtis and Peter. They got a lot of knowledge that they're sharing. But again, he's not doing the videos and stuff yet, right? So he engages with other people's stuff though, and I think that's a key point right there. Is for people that are a little more shy, that don't want to start their own community or kind of head up and jump in head first. If you're not sure, like you mentioned, well, I don't know what I want to do, or I don't know how I bring value to this. There's nothing wrong with supporting other people and jumping into their community and seeing if you fit, right? There's nothing wrong with that at all. Like I know a ton of people that engage just with single comments or have their own little brand. Like one that comes to mind is Kenny Dutton. Savor the flavor, right? And we all know Kenny. Right. Yes. And it's a positive thing. And again, that's his thing. And I love it. I've had phone calls with Kenny at nighttime and stuff every once in a while, and I think he's down in Houston, I believe.
Yes.
And so again, like, you can build those relationships by just supporting other people if you don't want to be the forefront. Right. So Progressive, that's what we do. We support others, competitors and collaborators alike. And that kind of starts the relationship, right? And people say, hey, well, we like what you guys are doing, right? And so we get talking about that and kind of see where we can fit, right? So where do we fit in? Like, there's a ton of times I probably spend, I probably bookmark about 3 or 4 hours a week on average, just with exploratory calls that don't go anywhere, but just people that are good people. And I go out of my way to support them. So I send them links and send them, because they're good people, right? And again, they do a lot for us as well. It's just reciprocal, and we realize, well, you know what? There's nothing for us right now. Maybe there is down the road. So let's keep in touch and let's see where we can go and how can I help, right? And so again, I think committing some of that time and freeing that up just for that reason has helped a lot too.
Yeah, and it's you have to be visionary in it as well. And when you're looking at it. And creators, us being on the creator side, and you being a creator as well. You have to see the long term in this, the long vision in this, because I think a lot of people, especially now, you can really say that in the essence of how many entrepreneurs were really pushed out into these communities based upon the pandemic, and that's crises, right? Things don't go well all the time in crises, right? For the most part, people don't think right. You don't act right. The thought processes on it. Crisis just calls that. That's just what it is, a crisis. So now you had this evolution of people saying, okay, the jobs, we can't go to work now. Now I'm not working in a lot of the essentials, what they was calling essentials, and now they're overworked. So we got the world was like split in two for this pandemic, right? You had those who couldn't go to work, was making this exorbitant amounts of money beforehand, and now you got these ones that really wasn't making no money. Now their pay scales have went up, but they're overworked. So now you got all of these people say, oh, now you got this big influx. Oh, okay, let's start communities. Like, that's all I heard after March 2020. Let's start communities. Let's build communities. Let's build. Telegram blew up. What was that? Snap. What was the other one?
House Party.
The group meetings.
Slack.
That's what I was thinking. Slack blew up. Like, everybody was on community. So I was like, yeah, no, community sound like a great thing, because I'm all about the terminology, right? So I'm figuring that if you call it the community, you understand what that means. So I'm thinking that when I go into these communities, I'm understanding we're all on the same page. And I fell into a lot of communities, and I just be honest about it. I fell into a lot on Slack, on Telegram, and I was just looking at a community that I was in a few months ago, and I got out. I said, oh my God, the stupidity of it. Everybody's on LinkedIn. Everybody's already on LinkedIn. So this person on LinkedIn went and created a community on Telegram for you to post LinkedIn posts. Now, I'm not the brightest bulb in the room when I think about things, right? So I say, if we're already on LinkedIn and it's a community we've already fostered over here, why are we going to take it on Telegram for me to bring LinkedIn information to Telegram? Right. And I was like, this is what we've come and evolved to, right? Everyone wants this influx of just having a lot of people following them, a lot of people looking at their things, and I love the attitude that you take it on, even helping those that are competitors, because a lot of times there's missed opportunities when we're not helping or being involved with competitors, right? We all got this zealousness and this spirit of I gotta win, competitive. You're an athlete. It's a competitive
Yep.
nature I think we all go through. But I think it's so much that we can learn from brand new age competitor. A lot of people don't know when I started talking about vulnerability. Yeah, I took shots at Brene Brown, but I had read a lot of her stuff. I had saw a lot of her studies. I had read those things. I just didn't give credit to her as far as how they came versus me living them and her asking people about them. But for the most part, her processes was on point. The things she was going through was on
Yeah.
point. So her was a competitor of mine. That was somebody I was coming for. But I had to see what she went through. Like she was established. I wasn't. So learning from your competitors sometimes can really help you build communities that you have no idea that is helping others, right?
And you know what? You
Yeah,
probably
but
offer a service that can complement each other. That's
Mhm.
the beauty of it. Is you start talking, you know, Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative in Canada, whatever, where, you know, get into politics and stuff. At the end of the day, we touched on this before the show. You know, we're all the same. We're all people. We all want the same thing, but you know, conventional wisdom tells us we should be chasing it in a different mindset. You know, that's why I love talking to friends of mine that vote opposite of me, is because when we start talking, it's like, you know, it's funny. We're actually, you know, we're told to vote over here, and we're told, you know, or over here, whatever side that is. But realistically, we're both right here. You know,
Yeah.
there's one item here or there, and that's what everything's promoted, right? And it's crazy when you think about like division of communities, right? And it's in big business best interest to keep you divided, and then market to you and market to you and market to you, right? But that's it's crazy to me how our mindsets work around that, right? And we fall back and default to who we think we're closest to, and we say, oh, that's my community. Oh, they're Packers fans, and I don't have anything else relation with anybody here, so I'm going to jump over with the Packers fans. And sorry for non-Packers fans, and yeah, but you know, that's the thing, right? We just, as people, we try to simplify everything. We defaulted back, but I think a lot of that's keeping an open mind and understanding that, you know, there's different ways of doing things, and if we all keep that mindset, like, oh wow, you know, just from an open conversation, I had no idea that we could actually win together. Imagine that.
Yeah. The simplicity
yes,
of it,
and
right?
and when you're speaking to that, a lot of times people were just building communities and not explaining what these communities were, because I think a lot of the go to WhatsApp and share LinkedIn links was because there was like a no, or you know, a whisper around LinkedIn that LinkedIn and like most platforms don't want you sharing, because they figure you're gaming the system for attention and views and all of that, which is understandable. But like I said, people were just opening these WhatsApp communities and not explaining, this is why we're doing it here. This is what's happening over
Yeah.
here. But make sure you're still engaging. Make sure you're leaving real comments, because people, of course, leave, hey, oh, not like, oh, nice. And it gave nothing to the conversation. It didn't prolong the conversation or create one. So it's about, when you're building a community, know why you're building it. Don't build it
Yeah.
just to say you have one, or you want to charge somebody for something because you heard it's a nice passive income. Like that's something that we have to really fine tune about ourselves, because like you said, Carl, people were just creating stuff all over the place and inviting you, and then don't explain what what they were for. Like, no, we're done. We don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And it was and yes, they got me because I was looking at the essence of I was looking at the essence of community, right? And what that means. And like I said, I'm the wordsmith guy. So when you say to me certain terms, I'm just under the understanding that you understand what you're saying. I just deal with people as that, right? If you're talking to me and we're communicating, if you're telling me something, I just give you the benefit of that. I have no other reason to think you don't know what you're talking about, right? I mean, so if we're having a conversation and you're laying it out on the line. Yeah, come join my community. We're going to be a community. We're going to support each other. I said it was awesome. I got duped into a couple of them. If you want to use that term, it's kind of harsh, but I'll say what it is. I got duped into a couple of them, right? Because I got over there and I was like, oh, okay, this is a platform, especially with the one that I initially interact with. Like, oh, I have no one like this in my network. This is great for me. This is not so much as what I can pour into them, but what can they pour into me? Because I'm always learning from people. I don't know. I don't trust people that don't learn from people. I'm always learning from people. So I'll look at that point and I say, yo, okay, let's come over there. And then I get over there and I'm seeing LinkedIn posts that they had on LinkedIn. And I was like, well, why did I come out of my LinkedIn to come up? But anyway, that's what that's a rant for another one, man. I won't rant on them. I won't say names to protect the innocent. But those are the kind of things that we deal with communities and during the recession piece. What are some of the things? What are some of the things you got going on, man? Tell us some of the stuff that you got going on so we can be aware of, and some of the things that you want to share with us before we close out.
Oh, we talking personal? We talking business?
Yeah, personal. Lay it out, man.
Oh, man.
Let your community know what you're doing.
Yeah, let
Oh,
your
man.
community know. Let our communities know so we can build. You know what I mean?
Okay, so I kind of touched on it earlier. I'll start on the personal side. I got the 3 kids, chasing them around, keep me busy. I don't have any hair left to fall out, so that's a positive
Hey,
side
join
of
the
that.
club, man. Join the club.
Same barber, I see. Hey, yeah, that's a good one. It's a good to save a ton on shampoo and
That's
conditioner.
true, man.
What I
That's
like
true, man.
It's just body wash. But yeah, so I got the 3 kids, chasing them around, and yeah, it's keeping us busy. I'm training for a 100-mile ultra marathon next year. And like I said, I've attempted it before. I've done a couple 100Ks. I've done some 50+ Ks, all that stuff, but I've never really taken it to the next level and been serious about it. So a month ago, I sat down with my lovely wife, Andrea, and said, I want to take a legit stab at this. So I'm now doing about 5 days a week. I'm out running, and I'm probably putting on it. It's going to ramp up every week. But this week I'll put on about 35 to 40 miles. So they're still pretty light right now, but that'll go up to about 50 to 60 miles a week in running in a couple months time. So that's a heavy commitment, and I understand that. So we had that big discussion about how much a commitment that's going to take to get this done, but she's supportive of me to do that. So I definitely appreciate that. Outside of that, from a business standpoint, we just signed a partnership agreement for a software provider. They're over in the Netherlands. So talking about building communities and everything else, that ties directly into that.
You and me both, Will.
That's right, Will. So yeah, they were in the Netherlands. So we talk daily with folks that are over in the Netherlands and their North American counterparts here. And it's just the most incredible thing. I won't dive into it too much because that'll be coming out kind of in the branding and stuff going down. But if you want to check them out, I'll just let you know. You can follow them. Their name's Advando, Advando, and you can check them out on LinkedIn. They're doing some really cool stuff. And we're just looking to expand and grow, and people are really taking on the mindset of going our subscription service, right? And that's kind of what we did. We offer a project controls subscription service as needed when needed, because you may not need a specific role for 40 hours a week, and everyone wants to onboard staff, and maybe you only need them for 10 hours. Well, why are you paying them for 40 hours to sit around for another 30? Well, now you're just basically investing. You might as well throw money into a mulcher, right? Like at that point, because you don't need that person there. And if you don't have other work for them, and you hired someone else to fill that role that's supporting their role, now you've got 2 people that you're paying for, right? So if you only need 30 hours of work and you only need specific roles for those, why not just keep that 30 hours, right? And for us to keep those individuals busy, the individuals, as long as they're working full time, they don't care if they're working on 18 projects in a week or if they're working on 5, right? Or they're working on 1. If they're busy and they're happy with the work they're doing, it doesn't matter to them. They're still getting paid and they're getting their full-time work, right? So it's kind of a win for everybody in that regards. And that's basically how we take every approach, is what looks like a win-win-win. And I know it sounds cliche, but we added that extra win because we wanted to focus on, win the client. win the business, win the staff or the contractor or worker, right? Like we have to, that's a critical piece that they're winning. And if they're not winning, then what are we doing this for, right? So.
True. Awesome,
Exactly.
awesome,
And
awesome.
what's your parting words for us to continue building communities? What's like the top two things that we need to keep in mind?
That's a good question. That's a good loaded question at the end here.
That's how I get my part twos, Chris. That's how I get
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's how with the part two, because
just be a good person. And I guess, I mean, realistically, just honestly, and I don't want to like simplify everything. Just don't be a douchebag, and everything else falls into place. And that's realistically life. If you're just, if you're being a good person, you're caring about other people, you're cognizant of the fact that, you're aware of other people's emotions and you're aware of your emotions, and just be a good person, I guess, really. And everything else falls into place. So you'll figure it out as you go along. And I can't sit here and give everyone advice because everyone's path is different. But again, if you focus on just being a good person, everything else falls into place.
That's it.
Love
Y'all
that.
heard it. Y'all heard it here, for real. Be real. If you focus on that, right? You focus on that, and y'all heard what Chris said. This is my selfish plug. If he just saw them 4-step plans that I had earlier, he might be well on his way now. Sometimes we have to go through things, but I'm offering it to you every time you see me, so it's there in the paper. Thanks, Chris, man. We appreciate you coming by, man. Wonderful conversation. We definitely got to get you back on and talk a little bit about your softwares and some of the particulars of what you really bring into the table. I think Michelle put it best. That workforce, that on-demand workforce is going to be big, especially now it's the booming entrepreneurs and not really, putting out all of these extra work for stuff you don't really understand what's needed. And I think the comprehensiveness of how you guys bring it to the table. You need these 10 hours for that. We got you. Instead of you paying for, those kind of things. That's good, because I think me and Charlene, we're going to have to do us some progressive planning and get us our 10 hours. And because between her 40 and my 40, our 80 a week is killing us. So
Yeah, absolutely.
we're gonna have to get a little smarter too, man. But we thank you for sharing your wisdom with us, man. Thank everybody who's tuned in, who's joined us. We appreciate you guys. Love you all as well. Will, I look forward to being on your show Wednesday, man. It's definitely going to be a blast. If you guys not doing anything, come and check us out at Will's page, Will Sullivan, in the comments. We thank everybody who's showing up, and go and improve someone's life today, right? I didn't say yours. Come out yourself. Come out about you. Go improve someone else's life, right? And you'll see how good you'll feel about your life. That's what it's about, making each other better. So
And
thank you
that's what the
guys.
community is about.
Charlie,
That's what the
community.
community
That's
that's
what
what
do
the
you
community
know?
is about. Helping each other,
Yeah,
not
what do
just
you
helping
know?
yourself. Yeah.
Man, I'll be on point, and I didn't even know I was on point. That's what community is about, right?
You on point today. So that's why we're here to help you out.
Oh man, we love it, man. We love it. We thank y'all
Thank
for
you.
tuning in. Come and check us out on Thursday. We got another fly edition, and we look forward to seeing you guys there. Go register, guys. I'm putting it in because it's essential. Nextlevelbusinessmoves.com. Go register for the business summit that we got. We got 4 incredible people with expertise and 90 plus years of business expertise. I just got to say it to you, because each one of those beautiful 4 people you see there, they are game changers in their industry, and they put it together collectively so we can put together a brand for you that you will be able to grow and be recession proof going forward, because you're going to need to be. I don't care what. We there.
and
But thank you
and
all for
Carl will
coming
be
out.
dropping those links.
Yes, I will be dropping those links. I got excited talking to Chris. That's my man, 50 grand. Chris, I'm going to have to do that 100. You said 100. What you said, 100-mile?
100-mile, yeah.
I'm going to have to do like a 10% of that, like 1/10 of 100 miles. I started running too. If y'all ain't see my videos, check me out on Facebook. Not running, walking. I'm walking every
Walking.
night. You know what I'm saying?
That's
I'm walking
amazing.
2 miles. I'm starting at the 2 miles because, the suits are starting to get tight. Couldn't button that button. So I said, yo, I got to walk. So I'm walking every night. So you guys keep me honest. I'm posting the videos on there and make sure that I got my community supporting me in that, because losing weight is
Maybe I'll
it's
go to
rough.
my park. You might inspire me. I might go to the park
Yeah, I'm
again.
saying get it. It's healthy, right? I see a lot of
Maybe.
people walking, and I thought like, so I see older people walk, I see younger people walk, I see fat people walk, I see skinny people walking. Like it's just a healthy thing to really. It's just a
Good
really thing.
brain.
So if you can't run like Chris, you can't run on marathons. Get out there and walk. I'm starting at 2 miles, and I'm looking to
Love it.
build mine up. I'm looking to build it up. So I'm at 2 miles now. I'll be there for a minute. Don't y'all push me. But I'm getting there. Love you guys. We'll talk to you guys later this week. Have a great one.
Bye, y'all.
Talk with Carl and Charlene. Real talk for the real world. Let's get it.